never sleeps. The magic in the air so deep.
Hey guys, we're back on another episode of the Icons Edit, and I'm with Julian, my old mucker Jew.
Me.
That's such a British expression. Have you
My
ever
old
heard
mucker.
my old mucker?
No.
Because we like to chat on for hours about endless just anything. And we were talking the other day, and we were like, "What should we do a podcast on?" And we said, well, you suggested it actually. We're talking about Y2K, and we were like, so many great trends came out in Y2K.
Some better than others.
Right.
I would say.
So we want to talk today about the era of unapologetic maximalism, paparazzi, celebrity culture, reality TV, the early 2000s. Is there a more iconic pop culture era, really, if we think about it? The 90s was amazing, but Y2K?
I think Y2K was arguably more iconic than the 90s and the 2010s.
Because it was the explosion of celebrity culture.
Mm-hmm. Also, the internet is like in full development at this point.
See, that's interesting because we are in that era of the internet, but we're not fully in it.
No, I mean, like for example, you know, computers and the internet obviously were sort of birthed in the 90s.
Yeah.
But by the early 2000s, you know, email is rampant. You know, you can go
dial-up. I had a dial-up.
Dial-up,
I had
yes.
dial-up. And this is why I think we really fondly remember it, because now I think we've gone into an age where we've got AI and everything, and it doesn't feel real anymore, whereas Y2K felt really real. And it was this era where everybody wanted to be famous and everybody wanted to be papped. Mm-hmm. No one wants to be papped now, really. Mm-hmm. Well, they do, but they pretend that they don't. But then it was, let's get papped, and everyone was going out. Reality TV stars started to become huge stars.
What were some like prominent celebrities of the era? I think Paris Hilton, like
Nicole Richie and Paris
Hilton.
Christina
Aguilera,
Christina and
Gwen Stefani, Britney, obviously.
I think Keira Knightley, in terms of actors, was blowing up around that time, but it was really more musicians, wasn't it? It was more like the MTV Music Awards.
MTV. It's at its peak,
yes,
I think, in the early 2000s.
And that's why I think this era was so prolific, because MTV was so influential then in terms of the output. TRL, like whatever, these shows, I mean, does MTV still exists, right? But it's not what
it's nowhere near what
it's not the same iteration.
I mean, if artists want to put out a music video, they'll just upload it to YouTube. Exactly.
I mean, we've gone way past that, but it was VH1, MTV, super powerful, which was elevating all these celebrities. And then the fashion, I mean, it was questionable, but you can't forget it.
I have lots of thoughts about the fashion.
Well, I'm wearing some of it. I'm wearing some of it.
Let's talk about what you are, Von Dutch.
Well, Von Dutch is having a huge comeback right now, as is Ed Hardy.
What is Von Dutch? It's just a brand.
It's just a brand, but it's a brand that was made famous by Paris Hilton. So we're going to run down 20 of the top iconic trends of the early 2000s, and this is one of them, so we might as well talk about it.
Let's talk about Von Dutch.
Von Dutch, trucker caps, Paris Hilton. Always wearing one of those.
The caps. I do remember seeing pictures of caps. I do also remember like Von Dutch crop tops. Were they a thing?
Yeah, I mean, they did like a whole range of that kind of super casual, low slung jeans.
Yeah.
These are low slung, although I'm sitting up, so they're all bunched up. Yeah. But low slung, round the hips, just super casual streetwear, but an earlier iteration of streetwear, more like flashy, trashy streetwear.
Yes. I remember talking to you about this just before. Jeans were like really low rise and they scraped the floor. And if I could think of a movie where this kind of fashion sort of is really prevalent, I think of Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Something that I see a lot of when I think about like photos of that era are the pointed kitten heels. They're really pointy.
Yeah, because I've got these are my Y2K mules from L'Autre Chose.
And they stick out from underneath the
that was the whole
jeans.
thing. You had your super pointy mules. They were always a lower heel. It wasn't
kitten heel.
The era. We went into the super skyscrapers later on.
Yeah, later on.
That was sort of this was
with
a
the
low
pumps
heel
and the platforms.
But it was crazy because the jeans were always super like boot cut or flared, but they were always dragging on the floor,
and they're all bunched up,
and they were all ripped and dirty. Oh,
that was
God.
the look.
Whenever I see people now in New York with jeans like that, I'm like, do you know how dirty the floor is?
And could you imagine, like, you know how, like, it rains in New York as well? Like, you know, sometimes when you're crossing the street and there's, like, a puddle. Like, what if you get your jeans in the puddle? Like, that's
super
gross.
disgusting, but that was so the trend. But another trend on our list is low rise. Oh, my God.
There was a lot of midriff, wasn't there?
Well, it was more than that. It was the era of Britney Spears' abs. Has there ever been a set of abs more fabulous than Britney Spears? That girl had a stomach to die for.
Somebody else that you did mention before is Keira Knightley.
She did.
Keira Knightley loved showing, but I mean, like, if you've got the stomach for it, go, girl.
Both of those. See, Keira is more gamine in the sense that she's more skinny.
Yeah.
Britney's more. She's skinny too, but she's more like womanly, curvy.
Yeah.
Keira
Knightley's very petite.
Down.
Yeah.
But Britney's stomach, if I could wish for a stomach that I could have of my own, it would be Britney in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that girl, what at the end of the day, there was kind of like this much of the jean before it went into the leg. It was like crotch skimming low.
Something that I've seen both Keira Knightley and Britney Spears wear was another trend that was really, really popular. And I don't know if Von Dutch did this as well, but like the old-fashioned like newsboy caps.
See, that was huge. Britney and Keira both did
the newsboy. I used to have a newsboy cap, but this was way after.
I still have them now. I still wear them now.
You do, and I've seen you wear them.
Yeah, no, I do, because you know me. I always say this. I like trends that are gone. I don't really love trends that are current because it's just boring to me. I want to go back and do the old things. But I've got a scrapbook. I'm a scrapbooker. Well, I'm not anymore. But when I was younger, I used to cut fashion pictures and celebrity pictures out of magazines in this era. And I put them in a scrapbook of things that just really inspired me. And there's a picture of Britney Spears on the front cover of a magazine. She's wearing a black newsboy cap. And she just looks phenomenal.
I used to have a newsboy cap later when it was not as cool. I remember now, I just have to preface this. I was born in the year 1996.
Yeah, every time he tells us this, I'm like, fuck off.
I was a child in the Y2K era, but I do remember a lot of it, and I had 3 older sisters, so I remember very much the fashion.
How old's your oldest sister?
10 years older than me.
Okay, so you have the touchstone of this trend.
Yes, absolutely. So but I remember having a newsboy cap in the year 2005. So a couple of years later, but I do remember I had I thought I was so trendy.
It's how you wear it as well. You have to have it slightly cocked to the side. It's very insouciant.
Oh yeah.
You know, like the way that
it's very hip hop.
It is very hip hop.
It's very like this.
Yeah.
I mean, ignore the hair, but like that whole
You were doing a whole vibe there.
I probably looked
But
terrible.
that's the thing with Y2K. It wasn't just a decade. It was a mood. It was a mood. And I feel like we haven't necessarily really seen anything quite like that since.
There was a lot of hip hop influence, I think, in the early years.
Well, that's
of
another
the 2000s.
person we haven't mentioned yet is J-Lo, who also was heavily influenced, but in a very sexy way. She kind of brought that kind of Latino hip hop thing, that fusion. But she was huge, Y2K. I mean, she was, you know what she was? Another trend for you on the list. Combat pants, cargo pants, and parachute pants.
Cargo pants, I feel like, were very reminiscent of sort of the tail end of the 90s, making me think of Sporty Spice.
Well,
that idea of
that
like
really was it was a trend that's, like you said, came
sort of
right at the
overlapped.
end, and then it overlapped. And then All Saints. Do you remember All Saints with the
Yes.
parachute pants?
Thanks.
You know me, I wear parachute pants almost like on the reg. That's my jam. I want to live in a parachute pant forever. And it's because of All Saints. I'm sure of it. The crop top. Bit of midriff, and then a massive, and Jennifer Aniston, she did it as well when she was at the peak of Friends fame. She was always knocking around LA in a pair of parachute pants. And I think that's, so one of the things I wanted to do when we're talking about the trends is be like, iconic or hell no, don't bring it back. Parachute pants for me can stay around forever.
because they're comfy.
But they look so good if you can carry off that look. I do think you kind of need the washboard stomach, or at least you need some good abs to do a really big. If you're going to do the crop top with it, and if you're not going to do a crop top with it, your whole silhouette's going to be a big bubble. So for me, parachute pants, combat pants, it reminds me of Jennifer Lopez dancing in her videos, you know, like Right, that's it.
That kind of, I had no idea what I was doing, but like that kind of thing.
That was very her. It was, and she always had the big pants with the cool sneaks,
Yep.
and then the crop top. And it's, for me, that's my enduring trend that came from that era. So that's one that I'm quite, I think should stick around forever. Probably I'd say the same with newsboy caps. Like, I don't need them to go anywhere. I think they're cool, but you don't see many people wearing them.
Yeah. Speaking of headwear, though, I another thing that came to mind is, do you remember like bandanas?
Okay,
Were
it's on the list.
Not the.
It's on the list.
Not the like but like the
Paisley,
specific
the
like
paisley ones.
You'd fold, the paisley ones. You'd fold them and then like you'd tuck them behind and they would sort of flap over and you'd pull them up so that your hair would come out. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, bandanas in Y2K were a staple of celebrity culture. Everybody, Paris Hilton did it.
I used to do it as well. As
You
like an
rocked
8-year-old.
Oh my God.
Like, this is back in 2004. But like I used to do, and everyone laughed at me at school because they thought that I looked like a girl.
That's so funny.
Because it was something that girls did, not really guys.
Right.
But like because like I remember seeing like Mary Kate and Ashley kind of rocking it, and then my friends were, and I'm like, I can wear a bandana, and I just looked
never pulled
weird
that.
on me.
I could never pull it off. I always just looked a little bit like a kind of Amish housewife or something.
Me too. I think that's why people laughed.
Yeah, because I just never quite was able to bridge the cool factor with the bandana, although I have very much appreciated it. Carrie Bradshaw wore a bandana very famously in the scene where she's going out with the comic book guy and she's meeting him, and she's wearing the Chanel blouse and she's wearing the paisley blue bandana, and so she was always like on that trend. And of course, don't forget, Sex in the City was in late 90s, early 2000s, so right in Y2K, but we didn't see as many of the trends in Sex and the City. That they didn't subscribe. Pat didn't go down the celebrity culture route. She still stuck to the roots of like, let's do something unexpected. Something
that I do see Samantha wear a lot in the series, and kind of all four of the women, is these halter tops. Where they like attach at the top and they kind of go down like that.
Yes.
That was very of that era as well. The whole
and they're always like super. Actually, this is Jimmy Jules. This is from the early 2000s. My rock star top. I love this forever. Everything was cut so like brief here, and those halter tops too, but they were very flattering because what it did, it gave women the appearance of a good shoulder.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
And I know that Kim has. I know from talking to Pat and so on. Kim has very broad shoulders.
She does.
Which they had to factor in when they were dressing her, because obviously you could go wrong with that and you could actually make
it look more masculine.
Masculine. So what they did with Kim, which is interesting, and this is really nothing to do with the subject we're talking about, but it kind of is, because it's about the fashion in that era, is constantly dressed her in that super high neck, skimming here, which
and
gives
I see
her that
her a lot of it. Yeah,
gorgeous. I mean, I love her figure. I think she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it's like anything with styling, you've got to dress people for the strengths and play to them, and not over accentuate something that's going to look even bigger.
Yeah. Now you've already done a podcast episode on this, so I won't harp on it, but we cannot talk about Y2K without bringing up the baguette, which I know that Carrie used to wear a lot on the show.
Yeah.
This sort of the mini bag.
So it's the micro bag,
Yeah, that's no purpose other than to sit under your armpit.
Absolutely none. So this is another trend on our list today, is the micro underarm bag. So if you were alive and you were well and you were buzzing in this era, you will remember having a little bag that fitted literally nothing.
I was going to say, what could it fit in?
Well, it fitted something else that we'll talk about in a second, which is another trend.
Oh, I know what this is.
Yes. So it basically just fitted your phone in it and maybe a little wallet, and that's it. But the baguette was Carrie Bradshaw's version of doing the micro bag. Huge Y2K trend. And then they sometimes called the moon bag as well, because they kind of like a moon shape.
They do look like a half moon crescent. Yeah.
Sit under your arm. Micro bags, I feel like, have massively come back. I mean, people are going crazy buying baguettes. You know, people are paying $5,000 to $6,000 for baguettes now, vintage ones.
Still?
Really?
I thought it had its time, because
highest prices on the market.
I'm all about like practicality. Like, even I wouldn't go as far as saying that I have a baguette or a mini bag, but I have like this bag from, I believe it's Coach, it's like a nice leather bag, but actually I barely use it because it's so small.
Yeah.
I can't even fit my laptop.
Well, that's the thing. So we might as well talk about what went inside this, because this is one of the biggest trends. It's not a fashion trend, but it was a fashion trend.
Hello, Moto.
Hello,
Motorola.
And I wish I brought mine
The
with
Motorola
me.
Razr flip phone.
The flip phone. I had a Razr and mine was purple. Someone stole it, the bastards. I actually have the Carrie Bradshaw rhinestone one in the house. I should have brought it with me. But the best thing about that was the dramatic snap.
Clip.
You
I
finish the
had
thought
it
and then-
as well, but I had it in 2008 because I was younger at the time and I got all my parents' hand-me-downs. So when my mum was ready to convert to the iPhone, I got her old Motorola Razr flip phone.
How good. How amazing was it when you first got your flip?
And then you take a photo of it and it would go... Because it'd be such a
I mean, they were
bad...
absolutely. I mean,
they were terrible camera
You
phones.
couldn't connect to the internet on them, could you?
No.
No, there was no like. I don't think so.
I don't think so, but I do remember I loved to text. And I remember in those phones, to text, you'd have to go like 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 1, 1, 1. You know, that way of texting where you have to like press the numbers to get the letter. Oh my gosh. And I'm playing Snake, but also in the Nokia a little bit earlier on.
We were talking earlier about the 3210 was the Nokia phone that everybody had.
I had that. The white one? I had the white one.
I had a silver one, but yeah, the little Nokia that I think everyone had that had Snake on it, which was just the first time you could sit and do something on your phone that wasn't just talk on the phone. Like it was like, oh, we can play a game. But when you think back now, we do everything on our phones. And then you actually just had it to text people and talk on it. And it was a fashion statement to have a Razr. And they did fit in a little moon bag because they were tiny.
I think this is a little bit later, but all of my friends had, I remember it was the year 2010 or 2011, and all of my friends had the BlackBerry. And then I begged my parents for it. And my dad bought me a BlackBerry. And just after my dad bought me a BlackBerry, everyone started switching to iPhones. Yeah. And I was the only one.
I had a BlackBerry, and I think I got mine in about 2010. I think that was when I got mine.
Yeah.
And
the typing.
BBM?
BBM? Yes. I remember.
We're totally off topic, but I don't care. BBM was the best thing ever. I mean, obviously now we just know it as texting, WhatsApp, whatever. But BBM was like life-changing.
BlackBerry
at that
Messenger.
moment. Oh my God.
I do remember that.
Razr flip phone. That's hard to say fast.
The Motorola Razr flip phone.
Jesus. I feel like that is probably the most iconic phone of all time. I don't think, even though we're all.
But they're bringing back the flip. What is it? The Galaxy Flip? The Samsung. Yeah. So they're bringing it back. So.
But I don't think now that people are paying £1,000 for them that they're snapping them shut like that.
No, because I don't think you'd break it if you snapped it shut.
Oh, God, I feel like when we have these conversations, because I'm so rooted in nostalgia, you know I love nostalgia.
I love nostalgia too. I think that's why you and I connect.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I miss that time. I still kept all my clothes. You know, I still wear those trends now. I really miss it. And I actually really miss the simpler lifestyle that came with no social media and no internet. We'd be fucked if we didn't have social media, but like I still miss that. And it was just, I don't know, like I think because the celebrity culture exploded at that time as well, it was, if I wanted to be really famous, I'd want to be famous then. You know what I mean? Because that was really being famous. Hit the big time at that moment and you were just, I
feel like fame is changed now because
I think
nobody's. There was an element, like I said just before. There's an element of mystery. Back then, you didn't know what people did behind closed doors. You didn't really know what people would think. Now everybody has an Instagram. You can check out everybody's Instagram story.
There is a lack of mystery, and I think that's probably just it's just not as enticing. When I remember back on that era, I just remember the fashion. I remember wanting everything that everyone was wearing and just being really led by celebrity culture. And I just don't really get that as much now. I'm the same as everyone. I'll see Kylie Jenner wearing something and be like, oh, I want to buy that. Like I still get kind of influence in that way, but not the same as I did back then. I don't have a scrapbook now. I had a scrapbook then. And it was like, I want this, and this. And it's like, you know, these amazing looks that these celebrities were pulling on red carpets and on the front covers of magazines. And that's the thing, you know, the 90s was, and I'm going to be talking about this on the next podcast actually, the 90s was the era of the supermodels. But 2000s, it was only celebrities on the front cover of magazines. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Do you think Anna Wintour sort of was responsible for that?
Well, I think, because Anna Wintour, I think, always sort of slightly was a bit highbrow in that certain people she wouldn't put. Remember when she wouldn't put Kim Kardashian on the front cover and there was a whole like as
Thinking
in,
about
and then
that.
that did change over time. But I think that she was just smart enough to know it sold copies. Put Britney on the front cover. I mean, Britney Spears' famous Rolling Stone cover, where she's lying on the bed and she's on the phone. You know, legendary. Those kind of is sold. That's what sold magazines.
I think of, just going back to fashion, what I think of when I think of Y2K in the early 2000s, and this was in Mean Girls, Regina George's mom, who wore Juicy Couture.
Oh, well, that's the
Juicy,
next one on the list.
The Juicy Couture matching track pants suit.
The velour suit.
And it's velour, yes.
Or terry. So Juicy Couture produced them in terry toweling, terry cloth, or velour, and they were made famous by Paris Hilton, of course. She was the one who just... So you had to have a pink, bubblegum pink,
Juicy absolutely.
Tracksuit,
Juicy Couture.
a Von Dutch trucker cap, and a Louis Vuitton Speedy on your arm with some cool sneaker, and you were set.
Which is so funny, because that just to me looks so... It makes me think of something so lazy.
But
it's so lazy!
So lazy. And it came...
It's so lazy.
It came off because they were never intended to be outfits. They're supposed to be worn around your house. I still wear my Juicy tracksuit around my house now. They were never supposed to be a fashion item, and then all these celebrities started wearing them for airport travel. So remember the airport pap shots? Remember when it was when you had to be papped getting off your private jet, like the Spice Girls, Victoria Beckham, or Paris, or whoever? That's what they wore, a Juicy tracksuit and an UGG boot. Oh my God, I forgot about
Uggs.
that. Warm with an UGG. I didn't even put
Uggs, I
on
feel
the
like
list.
were very much like 2005, 2006,
A little
2007.
bit later, but they were the Juicy.
But it's like
tracksuit
comfy fashion.
was tucked into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, airport chic became mainstream. People are wearing it for fashion, and honestly, not many people can wear Juicy tracksuits and pull them off because they don't make everybody look great.
Well, it's not the most flattering tracksuit, I will have to say that.
It's not the most flattering, but it's sexy.
Yeah.
And I think that era, would you agree, was really sexy. Like, people were sexy.
Well, I mean, going back to the topic of the midriff. I mean, like, sometimes midriff is just a little bit of midriff, but in the early 2000s, it's like from your boobs all the way to like right above your crotch.
Well, you've got to wax well to do that trick.
I was gonna say,
that's how you're skimming.
all of these jeans were so low rise that it's a huge midriff. I wouldn't even call that midriff. I'd call it max drift.
Oh,
it's huge.
Did you just make up a new
I just
phrase?
made that up, but it should have been called max drift.
Copyright that, a max drift. 100% agree with you.
Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh, girl had the body.
She had the biggest midriff that she would she would
The
rock.
thing is with it wasn't accessible fashion though, because think about the percentage of women that could actually pull off that look. It's tiny.
Yeah.
And I remember I was a young girl. I was a young woman at that time, and I just couldn't do it because I've always had a bit too much ass, so everything would spill over the top. And I desperately wanted to do it, but I couldn't make it work.
I do think though that the Y2K, the early 2000s sort of era, was a transition between the 90s sort of heroin chic Kate Moss look of the 90s,
Massive
and then
change.
the Kim Kardashian voluptuous big boobs and ass of the sort of later 2010s.
Yeah.
So we're having this, it's kind of like a transition between the two.
It's so true. And don't you think that's a really good point, actually. I'm really glad you made that, because you're right. So you had skinny heroin chic, then
From the
you have
90s.
curvy.
And
In the middle, I feel like you had athletic.
You
sexy.
did, yeah. It was athletic.
Sexy.
Well,
It was
everyone had flat stomachs. Everyone.
flat stomachs.
Yeah.
You had to work out. I feel like that was definitely part of, you had to look like you worked out all the time, and you could be a little bit curvy, but rock hard curvy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like Madonna has always been rock hard, but in the early 2000s, she was always rocking the little, cut off tanks and the low rise jeans, because it was sinewy. It was kind of like, I have a buff body. That was definitely what that era was characterized by.
I mean, we spoke about it in the America's Next Top Model episode, that like a lot of these women, size-wise, they all kind of looked the same.
Because 90s wasn't attainable either, unless you wanted to starve yourself and be a Kate Moss. But this also was slightly unattainable. I remember constantly dieting and constantly working out, trying to achieve these bodies it was cool to be thin, but you had to be like buff and thin.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked for so many of the trends. Because, like, another one on the list, belly chains. Do you remember belly chains? So you had to have the midriff out to have the belly chains to work.
Again, very hip hop. Very kind of like reminiscent of like hip hop and that sort of, I don't know, like Akon's belly dancer. I mean, is there an element of that in there? I don't know.
Did you just say Akon?
It's Akon, right? Belly dancer?
No, I
Shake your
loved
body
him.
like
I
a
just when you
belly
said
dancer.
it. Do you know how much I love Akon? Like his voice. Oh, no one said Akon to me in years.
Lonely.
Oh.
I'm so lonely.
It's just some of my favorite ever songs are from Akon. Oh my god, you just made my day.
Akon.
So belly chains, obviously, but who's wearing a belly chain unless you've got a washboard stomach? Christina Aguilera was a big belly.
I was gonna say
belly
Fergie.
chain.
I feel like did some.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then in the same theme, another one on the list, the whale tail,
What's the whale tail?
the exposed thong. So the G-string.
Oh, that would
G-string.
come up.
Yeah, I was going to wear
yes.
it. I was like, I can't flash you guys with my G-string, but it was the G-string. And
From behind.
Yeah, you would hoik it up so that the G-string strap was here. And
Which I
your
just
jeans
think
were
is
here.
so trashy in my opinion. Sorry.
But isn't that what the era was? Trashy, really?
Trashy.
Dutch cap.
Well,
Juicy Couture
we were just
tracksuits.
talking about, Juicy Couture.
It's trashy, glam.
casual, glam sexiness.
And you know what? You know who loves trashy women?
Who?
Straight men. They love it.
I wouldn't know about that.
I know for a fact that if you were to go out on the streets and wear your thong sticking up above your low-waisted jeans,
It
put
would
a Von
attract.
Dutch cap on you and a crop top, you would have men chasing you down the street to this day. Straight men love that trashy look. I've been a stylist for so long, and I've said this to so many clients. What men love is so different to what women love.
I know. And it's so sad in a way.
Yeah. I used to take my clients to Victoria's Secret shopping and they'd be like, why are we coming here? And I'd be like, just trust me. And I'd buy them some of the low slung like lounge pants and a crop top, a brami or something. And they'd go home and they'd text me and go, oh, fuck yeah, you were right. My husband went crazy. I was just lounging around the house in this amazing stuff.
Is it because these guys look up, what these celebrities are wearing? These celebrities are and like, oh, I would love a Keira Knightley as a wife, or I'd love to date a girl like Britney Spears.
They just wanted to fuck them, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they wanted to marry them. I just think it's like you want to fuck Britney. I mean, let's be real. I love Britney, but who would want to marry Britney Spears?
Especially after 2006. Or was it 2007?
Yeah,
Everybody always talks about the Britney Spears
Debatable.
circa 2006 when she had a bit of a breakdown and she shaved off her hair. They call it I've had a Britney Spears moment. Like, I had a breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing with Britney, you see, so desirable, but that's problematic as well because she's desirable because she dressed up as a schoolgirl and men love that.
I mean, Hit Me Baby One More Time. She was literally in a school uniform.
And then she goes on to, Oops, I Did It Again, one of my favourites, wearing a red latex catsuit, super skin tight. I was talking with Lauren a few weeks ago about the male gaze, and it's actually, the Y2K was very male gaze centric.
I remember watching the music video to Toxic by Britney Spears.
Oh,
and
so
on
good.
YouTube, and again, this is the early days of YouTube. And I couldn't watch it because I was under the age of 13. And I was like, what? And I remember finally being able to see it afterwards, going like, oh, this is adult content that I'm getting, as a 13-year-old, and clicking it and watching it and going like, I don't understand. Because she was not naked. She looked naked. And she wore, I think it was like this might be a bit TMI, but like the very, very first time I saw it, it was slightly blurry, and I'm like, is she naked and covered in cum?
Ooh. Well, then
I thought that, but then I watched a higher quality. I'm like, oh no, it's just white crystals. But then I actually think that it's supposed to give off that sort of look to make it look kind of erotic,
which is definitely like signaling in the sense that yes, oftentimes
you can cut that out if you want.
No, I'm keeping it in.
No, but I genuinely think.
Staying in.
But then I'm like, maybe they did that deliberately to make her look erotic.
It's signaling. It's this idea that people that were directing music videos or magazine covers were signaling. Like the Rolling Stone cover that I mentioned, Britney is supposed to look like a teenage girl lying on her bed. Who do you think bought that magazine? Men. It's selling this this
The
idea
fact that young girls, it's actually quite pedophilic if you really break it down.
It is, and I think that's why we can probably talk about how we've come back to this fashion again, right? So it's all coming back up again now. Y2K.
Oh yes.
And I'm thinking that it's because it gets guys going.
Mm-hmm.
Women in those kind of clothing, it's like, I definitely know when I wear this down the street, like you get more attention than you would do wearing like Margiela or something high fashion, because it harks men back to that era of
that nostalgia. Yeah.
Jerking off over Christina and Britney and all of that, which is really what it all comes back to, which is interesting.
I mean, like something that I think that is really like the two trends that are really prevalent now that were really big back in Y2K that have sort of come all the way back. Oval shaped sunglasses.
Yeah, huge sunglasses were big.
Yeah.
Big, dark, opaque black.
And sort of like oval shaped.
They're massively back again.
They're
now,
really back. Also, baggy
them.
jeans.
I bought my jeans 2 sizes too big for me because I wanted them to be falling off my ass.
Yeah.
Totally a trend again now. Yeah. That's the thing. It's like a lot of the trends were like questionable, but they've come back.
My husband refuses to join the trend of the baggy jeans. He actually says that he doesn't want to get rid of any of his skinny jeans because he's waiting for them to come back.
See, skinny jeans was like 2000. I want to say like 6, 7, 8, 9 was kind of skinny jean.
Yes,
prime,
and then
prime.
Yeah, and then I feel like they were sort of on and off throughout fashion, and then I want to say about maybe 5 or 4 years ago, they sort of kind of died out, and they're having a bit of a dormant time now.
They're definitely dormant.
They're dormant.
And I think when they do come back, it will be a different iteration of them. I think it will be like a pencil, like more like a bit more straight, less skinny. It was Kate Moss. We'll do a different era one on that, because that was a whole amazing. Another celebrity led the skinny jean with the boho and all that.
You guys remember the jeggings? The
jeggings,
jeggings.
But again, a lot of these trends are not user friendly. They're not for everybody, like you see.
I think it's great for slightly bigger people like me, because you can sort of hide behind the baggy clothing. Well, so that's what I quite like about
that. Moves us into another trend from Y2K that's on the list. Dresses worn over jeans and worn over pants. I don't know why it happened, but all of a sudden in Y2K, everyone was wearing a dress over their trousers and their jeans.
Which is weird to me, and I never really got on board with that. Like, I never really understood it.
I think it was something that started in the 90s with 90210. Brenda Walsh used to wear leggings with Doc Martens and like a floaty chiffon kind of top dress, and it kind of migrated into this. That
became very big around the year like 2006, 2007 as well. That sort of became really big. But
this idea of the dress over the trousers, it was huge.
Yeah,
it was huge, and kind of like sometimes like a more fitted tube dress over a pair of pants. Mm-hmm. Massive trend. Never really understood it. Probably don't think that should come back.
No, I'm not a fan of that.
I did own a couple of pairs of pants that had a skirt attached over the top of them. Mm-hmm. And I did like them at the time, but I've never once thought about wearing those again. So I think that's probably a trend that probably needs to stay in Y2K. What about the fact that in the early 2000s, everything was covered in rhinestones?
Yes, rhinestones galore.
I got this top. This is Jimmy Jules. Jimmy Jules was a brand that was huge in Y2K. Everything was rhinestone encrusted, like slogan tanks and tees and whatever.
When I think of colors, I just think of that. Like, if I look at your rhinestones now, I think of like the makeup being really frosted.
Yeah,
like
that's another trend on the list.
The frosted like pink.
Frosting was massive.
The frosted eyeshadow and this sort of like frosted pink lips and like the what do you call them, like little butterfly clips? I mean, that's more sort of late 90s.
No. Butterfly clips was a huge trend in the
early 2000s.
Another one.
Yeah.
Butterfly clips were the little tiny mini.
The little ones.
I don't know.
I see them in so many chick flicks. Like I
don't think I ever did that. Like, no. I don't think I ever did the butterfly clip. I did the big one, but I don't think I ever did the little mini ones. But that was a massive trend in so many movies and TV shows, and just you saw like all the younger girls though. I don't think you saw the older women doing it.
Also, speaking about men for a change, the frosted tips. Like of like the boy bands, like I mean, this is again late 90s overlapping into the early 2000s.
The frosted tips.
But the frosted tips.
Can I just
of like
say that's the trend that should never come back?
The frosted tips.
I saw someone recently at an event and he had frosted tips, and I actually said out loud to myself, "Oh no." No, I was
Let's
like,
not bring that back.
Leave immediately. It's like, who did this to you? You know, like highlights through a cap. I remember getting highlights.
Through a cap.
Where
Yep,
they
that's
used
how
to
you
like
do it.
pull your like the little thing used to. But the frosted tips, JT definitely had.
Justin Timberlake.
He had frosted tips. That's a trend that should never come back, but that was a huge one. And on the same theme, chunky highlights at the front of the face.
Disgusting.
That was
gross.
Massive trend.
Yuck. Never bring that back.
I think I did it. And also.
But it's a rite of passage. You have to do it.
The overly straightened hair. I remember in that era, a little bit later on, maybe.
That also carried on later on. Yeah.
Like once a week, going and getting a blow dry so my hair was poker straight, and then having the panel. And sometimes people went too far and had like multiple panels, not just the face frame. That was very All Saints as well.
Yeah. I do remember that even in the early days of my like high school and like latter half of my like childhood era, like my sisters wanted like using hair straighteners and wanting to have really, really thick straight hair.
Can you, I mean, apart from Jennifer, even Jennifer Lopez was doing really straight hair at that point, and she's got big thick hair. Everybody, Jennifer Aniston, very long straight. Extensions were huge, you know, still, but it had to be straight, and there was the chunky highlights. There was some very questionable hair trends in that era.
Yes.
And I have photos of me in those trends.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted super, you know, like now I always like to make my hair look big and kind of voluminous. Then it was like,
you know who that reminded me of? Avril Lavigne. Like the middle parting down and the highlights.
Yeah.
Or the lowlights or whatever they were.
Go and make things
but
so
like that kind of like, and like that sort of punk era look.
Yeah. Yeah. What era was Avril Lavigne?
Avril Lavigne was Y2K.
She was.
Yeah, it's complicated. Was I think 2002, 2003?
Yeah, and then I think she sort of went into the skater boy era.
That skater boy era, yeah.
Don't you think it's funny that there was a whole rumor that she was dead?
No, I never heard.
Hear that?
No, or maybe I did ages ago, but I don't know.
This has nothing to do with anything, but she wasn't photographed from a really, really long time, and so there was a rumor that she died. And then it wasn't until I saw her randomly on an episode of The Kardashians that I went, "Oh, she's alive."
It's interesting because Avril Lavigne tried to make a comeback. She was huge in Y2K. Skater Boy, Complicated. You know, all of her early songs were like really great, and she was of her era, and she was like, it was prime time for her. Then she decided to come back with a slightly altered, because obviously when times change, and what was cool back then is not necessarily cool now. And she came back with Hey, you, I Don't Like Your Girlfriend, which was sort of a hit, but she didn't really land the same way she did because, again, culture had changed.
It was
and
like teen angst.
Yes,
you know, she really
liked being like punk rock. And I remember like, what is it? There's like a video of her, and they're like, "So are you punk rock?" And she's like, "If you're punk rock, you don't say you're punk rock. You know, I'm just a chick or something." I think she says something along the lines of that, and it's actually hilarious.
Actually, on that subject, let's talk about this for a second.
My sister Annie loved Avril Lavigne.
I loved Complicated.
Loved
that was amazing.
Avril Lavigne.
How many celebrities who were huge in Y2K are still huge now? This is interesting because think about this, right? This is a moment in time where being a celebrity was the pinnacle. You know, paparazzi culture, pop culture, celebrity culture was at its peak then.
I would say that Paris Hilton is still very famous, probably from that era, though.
But not in the same way.
Not in the same way. I did see her at the TikTok Awards.
Oh, yeah.
When she knew that she was going
But
to
she's
win.
not influential anymore in the sense that no one's waiting to see what Paris wears and then they're copying it. Whereas before it was...
Kim Kardashian, this was her early days of fame, Do you remember when she was like in magazines and stuff? She's always going out with Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah. And she did not look good then. That woman looks so much better at 40 than she did at 20. Definitely.
And I remember like just more like pop culture references and like online seeing photos of Kim Kardashian wearing the juicy tracksuit with Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan.
But this is the thing. Kim was always trying to be them. And then in the end, how she made the money was being a totally different version of. But she definitely, for me, I don't remember her in that era, only purely looking back, if you know what I mean. But in that era, it was, for me, Britney, Christina, it was Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton from The Simple Life, because that was huge. And I would say that none of them really, I mean, Britney just lost the plot.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Keira Knightley is still a successful actress, I would say.
But probably just not really.
But she's more known for her, like, period stuff. Like, the only period actress, I feel like, that, like, she just gets the quintessential period roles.
Yeah, and
Knightley,
I think, you know, Jennifer Lopez as well is still pretty huge.
Jennifer Aniston?
Jennifer Aniston, I think, is still enduring.
Is huge.
She's enduring and always will be. I think she's a woman who's been able to transcend any trends by never subscribing to them. She never did any of the trends, really. If you think about it, she just wasn't. She wasn't part of celebrity culture in the way that she was trying not to be famous. The Friends cast was so huge that they were always trying not to be papped. The people that were papped were the ones that really desperately needed it because they didn't have any talent. Because let's face it, did they have any talent? Really? Britney did, obviously, and Christina too.
Yeah.
But your Paris Hiltons of the world and Nicole Richies, they weren't exactly talented women.
No. I mean, I'm trying to think, like, Lindsay Lohan, just thinking back to, like, Lindsay Lohan and Britney Spears, they sort of followed a similar trajectory because
they did.
She ran into some problems.
She ran into a whole bunch of problems.
She went to jail, I think, for a little bit.
I think so.
But the thing is, she is doing so well now.
Yeah, she's
Lindsay
doing really
Lohan is doing fabulously. Living in Dubai, you know, is kind of done with America, but good for her.
She's had a glow up. She's
had a glow up, and she looks so good and happy and healthy. And everyone online is just like, "Go you!"
Yeah,
go you.
But don't you think that there's definitely a symmetry between celebrity culture being so insane and them all getting fucked up? Because all of the people in that era got fucked up to some degree.
I mean, Britney Spears, I feel like, I don't know if she's yeah.
Can you imagine being chased by the paparazzi?
I feel bad
all
for her.
day.
I mean, just like all day, every day. I remember like a Britney Spears interview on, what was it, 60 Minutes or some like ABC interview thing that she did. And I think Matt Lauer is the one that asked, like, what do you think that it will take for the paparazzi to leave you alone? And she just looks down at the floor, and she's just, the poor thing. I mean, she's a girl. She's so young.
She's young.
She just breaks down, and she's just like, you know, like, she's like, I don't know what to do. And like, I think we all kind of looked at it back then, and we were just like, oh, poor rich famous person.
Yeah, like,
blah, blah, blah. Whereas like now, I'm actually like looking back, and I'm like, I should have felt more sorry for her, because that kind of level of fame must just be so overwhelming.
Well, I think that's why that era specifically, because it was so led by celebrity and paparazzi culture, I think that's why they all imploded. I think that Y2K was also the start of the like power couple.
Mm-hmm.
So Britney and JT. Double denim. Double denim's on the list.
I remember that.
It's why I'm doing my denim shoes with my denim jeans, by the way. I'm like hammering all the trends
double
today.
denim.
Is that not one of the most iconic paparazzi shots of all time? Well, red carpet shots of all time. I mean, they looked horrific.
But that's also kind of iconic as well.
It's so iconic. And that's the thing. And that, if I was to sum up this era in 2 words, it would be iconic and horrific. Like, as in questionable style, but you can't ever forget it.
No.
And, you know, double denim was huge. But can you imagine being part of that couple? And I don't know how old they would have been at that time, like early 20s, maybe younger.
Maybe, because I remember, didn't Britney Spears date K-Fed after JT?
After, yeah. And can you imagine that they sat there in their house and they went, you know what, Brit, let's go and let's get dressed up in like double denim.
Let's do double
wear
denim.
a denim hat and everything's going to
Yeah.
patchwork. And she's like, oh, yeah, let's do it. This sounds so good.
Yeah.
And then they go and it's a moment, but it's just fashion for me as a fashion person. It's like, ugh, disgusting. But that's what I'm saying is, do we even get those kind of pap shots anymore where we're like, oh, iconic?
I think, you know who else was big, like, power couple?
Who?
Posh Spice and David Becks.
Wow. I talk to myself about this subject quite a lot because I think that's
But again, that Posh
masterclass.
Spice is very like her look of the early 2000s, very Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
It's very like the pointed shoes and the jeans and the
Posh Spice
midriff.
definitely. She did go down a trashy route later on when she was a wag. Remember when she started going to all the, wag, which is a wife and girlfriend of a footballer. She started wearing like the trucker caps and the little hot pants and stuff. And apparently now she actually can't even look at pictures of herself because she rebranded to a completely different iteration of herself. But she never really went down the juicy couture tracksuit route. Instead, she went down the Tom Ford Gucci route, which were those cute little tube dresses and that kind of. It was another aesthetic that was going on behind the scenes at the same time. It wasn't quite as overt, but it worked.
Fun thing about Posh Spice is she had the Karen haircut before it was known as the Karen haircut.
What's the Karen haircut?
You know, like the bangs and then the short. That's very Karen. You guys know what I'm talking about. The short,
Karen.
like the side swept bang and the short like spikiness.
Absolutely.
Karen.
I did not like that. I think it ages women.
But I think that she did it when actually it was really cool.
Yeah, and she was really blonde as well. She dyed it like platinum blonde at the time as well.
But I do remember her having that when she had like almost dark brown hair.
She definitely did when she
Almost
went
black.
solo and she was like pretending she could
And then
sing.
so she had that when she did blonde, and then I think she stopped. But then like years later, I think, do you know what I think it was? A whole bunch of like white women looking through a magazine at a hairdresser going, oh, I'd like to look like Victoria Beckham. She's really cool. And the magazine's like 5 years old. And they're like, of course we can do that. And that's when it sort of became this resurgent, like, I wouldn't even say it's a resurgence. It's just the tail end of something that I think was really, really old.
When were the Spice Girls out? I'm trying to think.
Spice
now.
Girls, what do you mean out, like finished? Done?
No, as in out. When did they explode? What
96.
Year was that? 96.
Euros.
So they were sort of 90s, but then they did go into 2000s.
But they did the solo careers. Didn't Jerry Halliwell did a solo career?
Yes.
So did, I mean, they all kind of did.
Do you remember when Jerry Halliwell in this era lost loads of weight? Like she went tiny.
Yeah.
It was what we were talking about earlier, that kind of
Heroin
sinewy,
chic.
Yeah, that body of like very muscular though, but very tiny. And she was doing her solo career and she wore a lot of Jimmy Jules tops like this, like she definitely went down that route. Victoria Beckham kind of did. She did the bandanas. Victoria Beckham, huge with the bandana wearing.
Bandana. Mm-hmm.
She did that single with, what's his name? Dane Bowers from Another Level. She did this, her first solo single was with him, and she just, every time she appeared anywhere, she was wearing a bandana with a little bandeau top and some like wide cut, like very long trousers.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, when you think back now, like all of these eras tend to mix in together, but they all lead back to the same place.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think that's why people got fucked up. I thought of another one that's on the list. Baby tees. Now, I've been doing this my whole life. You wouldn't have done this because it wouldn't have...
like baby t-shirts.
Yes. So everybody was wearing shrunken, tiny little tees that looked like they were for children. So like very fitted, very
They almost
cropped.
kind of came up to
Yes.
like there.
Yeah.
Like the yeah.
It's another thing that men really like on a woman. I think it's because it just...
Gay men also used to wear that as well in that era.
did.
Gay men, specifically gay men.
Do you remember, are you a Take That fan?
Don't know what that is.
You don't know who Take That is? Okay, I've got to talk to him after this. We got to talk.
She's going to slap some sense into me.
Take That were huge. They were like my favourite boy band when I was like 12 years old. But Mark Owen, who was like the sex symbol of that band, he wore a little shrunken baby tee in the video for Relight My Fire. And even to this day, I'm still thinking about that t-shirt. It's just baby tees, I think, were very accessible. Women everywhere were wearing baby tees. And you could wear them with your, I mean, I still do this. I did this on Tuesday. I was wearing this look on Tuesday. Baby tee with my huge Maharishi parachute pants. I just think it's because it's something that people could, it was accessible and you could wear that. Not everyone should have worn it, but it was, you know, baby tees was another massive trend that I think that all the celebs used to do as well. Paris was always in a baby tee. What about, this is a big one, logo mania.
Yes, I remember. Do you know one that I remember my sisters wearing, and also kids at my school? I don't know what it's called. I think it might have been a French brand. No, the monkey face.
Oh, Paul Frank.
Paul Frank.
Oh my God, Paul Frank.
Paul Frank.
Paul
I knew it was
I
Paul
forgot all
something.
about Paul Frank. I had a
Paul-
little sleep set from Paul Frank with the monkey. Logo mania. Probably the biggest proponent was Burberry.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, Burberry exploded.
I was
in this
thinking
era.
Louis Vuitton.
I mean, definitely.
The Louis
Paris was
Vuitton
always
bags.
carrying the Speedy. Oh, definitely.
I grew up in Hong Kong, and I remember when we had relatives that would come and fly in and be like, I want a fake Louis Vuitton, because you could get it fake in Hong Kong. You could go to like the markets and they'll be like, it's real, yes.
At the
Buy it!
market.
At the markets. And they're like, yeah, okay, we can get this. But like that idea of like wanting to like buy yourself a branded like designer label.
But also, so that is, you're very true. You're on the mark with this one. So the Louis Vuitton Murakami Speedies came out, or the Murakami line came out in 2003. That was the white canvas with the multicolored LVs on it. That's what everybody was carrying in the early 2000s, and it was the most faked bag of all time, you know. That was
really?
the bag that people were going to Hong Kong and trying to buy was the Murakami. It was,
you can put up a
so
photo,
distinctive.
right? So that
yeah,
people can see.
yeah. It's the white canvas with the multicolored LVs on it. It's still fetches really big money now for the real ones, but it was the most faked bag ever made.
That's
it was
insane.
faked everywhere. Marc Jacobs did it for Louis Vuitton. It's iconic. And that was probably the most iconic logo. But then Burberry, everybody was wearing Burberry bandanas. Everybody was wearing Burberry. Trench coats are still massive now, like Burberry trench coats. Burberry bikini. I had a Burberry bikini. Still got it. Maybe I'll put it out this summer.
Love
I'll
that.
treat you to a bit of Burberry.
Do you know what
bikini.
else was kind of really big back then? And I saw this in a video that I showed you, wearing like, what is it, ties as belts?
Yeah, ties as belts.
I'm
What was that
sorry,
about?
that was bad.
So low slung jeans, they're boot wide they're fitted, and then they're a wide boot, and then a tie pushed through them. It kind of went into a little bit later, like mid 2000s upwards, and it would be scarves were put through them.
Yes.
But the ties was massive. It was weird because why?
No, that was just very, very strange. But talking about, what was the you said the pants were that you really liked were?
The parachute pants.
Yeah, they came up 3/4, right? Or no,
Sometimes
they would go to the bottom, but
They
like
would go to the
sometimes
bottom,
they
but you could get
because
them-
I could think about like Carrie in Sex and the City wearing like
So that's another trend. Capri pants.
disgusting. You've heard it from me.
I've been trying to buy. I bought 3 pairs of them this week.
The parachute ones I can get my head around.
Capri pants. They're
The
huge.
3/4,
They're huge.
disgusting. Nope, never.
You mean like the fitted tailored with the little knot?
Disgusting. Hate them. I have always hated them. Dawn you might disagree, and that's fine, and I'll
No.
still love you. I cannot. I honestly think these were the most unflattering things that people ever wore, and I used to wear them myself.
You're not wrong. So here's the deal. They are back big time.
Are you serious?
Have you seen the new advertisement for Kylie's Meta sunglasses?
No. Is she wearing them in that?
Okay, so when you see it, you're going to understand why it's back. Kylie's wearing a top and capri pants that are black fitted with a little notch to here. She looks phenomenal.
Well, she's Kylie, of
Yeah,
course. I
and
mean,
she's
of
got
course, anything that she
But she's got a
wears.
really great figure because she's got massive hips but thin legs, so which works very well for a capri. However, if you don't have the bowed legs in the middle, it's a little bit more problematic to wear a capri pant. So they're back big time, but they're not. I want to wear them, but I don't think they're my strong suit.
I just remember them being all the rage in like the year 2004, 2005. And I remember specifically like looking at home videos of like my sisters wearing them in like, like on a holiday that we went to in Italy. I'm sorry, I just think they look so rank.
For what it's
They
worth,
look so
I agree
gross.
with you, and I'm going to try and make it work because I can kind of see how it's come back massively and the vein in which it's come back. So one of the things that is true now is you have to wear it with heels. Because if you don't wear it with heels, you're going to look super dumpy.
Well, this is the thing. I think the reason why I didn't like them was because so many women wore them with sneakers
and ballet flats.
and ballet flats.
I freaking hate ballet flats
which
with a passion.
just looks so frumpy, in my opinion. In my opinion, you might think differently.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it now, you've got to do it with a heel.
Well, at least there's a bit of femininity there. If you're going to do it with a heel.
See the Kylie advert.
Okay.
I immediately ordered the set that she's wearing, and it's pricey as well. It's very
That's what I
expensive.
saw you do on Instagram story. Okay, so I saw her top that she was wearing.
Yeah, so it's like this.
No, I loved that
buttoned
top.
out, and then she's wearing it with
But with the capri pants.
Yeah, and I ordered the set online.
But see, I didn't even notice that, probably because she looks so feminine with the heels and the top.
Yeah, it's by a random brand called I think it's Helsa Biquette, and they're like $500 for the set. Like, it's not cheap at all. But what I will predict is that you're going to see the high street start doing versions of that now, because it's going to be the biggest trend. You're going to see, I'm sorry, babe, you're going to see people walking around.
#influenced.
I was influenced, and I was like, oh, okay, so
You were influenced by the primary influencer. Like, she's a primary
King
influencer.
Kylie. Yeah, she was probably the first big influencer, wasn't she, really, back in the early days when she was called King Kylie. You know, that era with the Tumblr, and it was all like fashion inspiration.
Don't know if I'll hop on board the capri pants, but maybe I will. I don't know. Actually, I'm being flipped now.
I'll wear some for you, and you can decide whether we worked.
But
it
then
or not.
you look good wearing everything.
I don't know. I don't know about that, because I feel like my got muscly legs.
But
now,
again,
so
I
can pull it
think
off.
it's all, just going back to what we said, I think it's all what you pair with it. Because
Yes.
again, capri pants with sneakers, capri pants with ballet flats. Can we talk about ballet flats just for a quick
we can.
second?
It's the next era over, but
It
we
is.
can talk about it because I fucking hate ballet flats.
Ballet flats, I remember when I was in year 7 and year 8 in secondary school, for those people who are American, that's like middle school essentially. I remember all of my friends, when it was like dress casual day, where you didn't have to wear your school uniform, all of the girls would come in wearing ballet flats. And then they started wearing ballet flats with their school uniforms. And then they got banned. And then somebody like had a petition, and they were like, sign the petition so that, you know, we can all wear ballet flats to school, because they did not like not wearing ballet flats to school. Like, ballet flats?
I hate that I had a pair and I wore them to death. I got some Repetto. Repetto were like Kate Moss's preferred brand of ballet flats.
Did
So
they
I
not hurt your feet?
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on. I think it gave everyone shin splints.
I was going to say, it's so badly supported, that
I mean,
shoe.
they were just, unless you were Kate Moss and you had those legs that bowed in the middle with the big gap, forget about it. And if you are somebody who's now still wearing the ballet flat trend, I would urge you to stop, because I think it makes everybody look so dumpy. Yeah, ballet flat should stay in a box locked and go away.
So you're
forever.
like against ballet flats?
Oh, mass. As a stylist, I try to tell people.
I mean, what if they come back? You never know. They
I mean,
could.
people are still buying them pretty much now. They've never gone away. But what people don't understand is that when you see a woman walking towards you, or a man, your eyes compute an image, right? It's a visual, like like a little computer, and it's whether is it pleasing or is it not pleasing. Ballet flats are often not pleasing, because say you have a beautiful outfit and you think, oh, nice, and you get to the feet, because they stunt. They stunt everything, right? That rounded toe, most often black. So instead of giving people length and poise and making them look glam, they're
Duck
like,
feet.
they're like, boom, and you're like, no.
Yeah.
It's
I
so
can see that.
hard
Yeah,
to like
that's a fair point.
explain it, but they just don't look good.
Yeah.
And so I'm a big proponent of wear nude shoes, because nude shoes allows the continuation of the image to go. So your brain goes, nice, nice, nice. And then it's nice. You know what I mean? It's lengthening. Ballet flats, definitely not. But on the subject of pants, lace-up pants were huge in the early 2000s too. The lace-ups at the front and the back. But sexy again. It's like crotch skimming, butt skimming. It's all related back to sex, no?
Back to like the pants and the Capri pants again. And I feel like Australians would know this. There's an Australian show called Kath and Kim.
Oh, I love Kath
and Kim.
Of course.
Kim used to, there's like...
Look at me.
Look at me. She would wear, and again, this was of the era. This was very Y2K, early 2000s. She would wear, and I think they were parachute 3/4 pants. But she would always wear them with shoes that you've got on right now.
Right, like a mule.
Like a mule. So a mule with that, I can get behind. I actually think it looks sexy.
I can get behind that too. And I think
can
it's
get
when
behind
you...
that.
And so we should talk about another trend that's on the list, which is the platform sneaker. The platform sneaker. But there was also a platform flip-flop too. Do you remember those?
Yes, the platform flip-flop.
That was massive in this era too. To wear with your combat parachute pants was a big chunky...
Or wear them with like cargo 3/4 pants.
I mean, I despise that look. It's not elegant. It's not sexy.
It's so trashy.
And it was very much the Spice Girls, really, who brought it from the 90s into the early 2000s.
Baby Spice?
Yeah. Oh, God. Platform.
Baby Spice with her platform shoes.
Possibly the least sexy woman of all time. Like, literally, bless her heart. She's so beautiful, but so not sexy. Like, that was... I mean, it wasn't her brand. I get
her
it.
brand was to be cute.
I
guess is the platform all about like, I can be grown up like the rest of everybody? Is that where that kind of came from?
That's what I always feel like with platforms, because later on, you know, in the late 2000s, Isabel Marant started doing those wedge sneakers with the hidden wedge. But it wasn't hidden. You could tell that you had a wedge inside. It was great for the small people in the world who just wanted to be a little bit taller, but it was a little bit try hard. And that's what the platform flip-flop and the platform sandal and the platform sneaker was. I think that should stay firmly back where it belongs. But that being said, I did buy a pair of Miu Miu platform sneakers yesterday.
Oh, look at ya.
Oh no. What about this is one of my favourite trends. Handkerchief tops. A scarf worn as a top. So you would get a big scarf, usually some kind of logo, Louis Vuitton or Burberry or something.
Isn't that really coming back? Or has that been back for like the past 2 or 3 years,
I'd say
maybe?
it's been back a little bit. I've been trying to get people back into it because I actually just love that trend.
I think it looks really flattering on a lot of women.
You know why?
On a lot of women, yeah.
The V.
It's kind of like back, and you can kind of... Is it true that you can kind of wear it without a bra?
Well, I can't because I got up big old boobies.
But I mean, like, I just think back to like some of my friends from New
wished.
Zealand. Like, it's kind of like the V kind of comes down to there, right?
So basically you get a big scarf, a big silk scarf, has to be big, and you fold it in half so that it's a triangle.
Yep.
And then you just put it around. You tie it back. It's the easiest thing. In Y2K era, I wore a Louis Vuitton one on repeat, and I wore a Burberry one with my low slung jeans.
I do think I like that. Like, out of everything. And I like how that has been back. And I'm like, that's really quite sexy.
That can stay.
That can stay. I quite like that.
As a girl with
Petite.
quite big boobs, I've always been so jealous of those people that can do the no bra and because I think maybe I was raised on
And
Y2K
Dawn,
culture.
you can do it if you want. And
They
we
would
wouldn't
be around
judge
my
you.
waist and no one would want to see that. These are 34 double Ds, babe.
You're not a double D. You're a double D.
I'm a double D. I'm a 32E or a 34 double D. My whole life has been me wanting to wear the fashion trends, i.e. Y2K, and me having too much ass, too much boobs.
I think we live, though, in an era where, like, a lot of people are like, just go for it, sis.
I think,
Yeah.
and I used to sometimes go without a bra. If you want to have a lot of men...
We are kind of sidetracking.
Yeah, we are. If you want to have a lot of men chase you down the street, have boobs like mine and wear no bra. That will do it. That will do it. Male gaze, again, it's that kind of, and even though it's like we've taken it back as feminist, like free the nip, don't wear a bra. Yeah, but that's just feeding into what men are going to just lap that
Actually,
right
that
up.
you are really true with that. Yeah, 100%.
It's like it's not a feminist statement because all you're doing is giving everybody like free kicks.
You're giving into the men. You're giving into what they want. There's some that I have there's one that I remember. I mean, we did speak about eyewear, but the tinted rimless glasses.
Oh yeah,
that
usually
was a
with
fade.
rhinestones. Usually,
Yes.
some sort of rhinestone detailing. Chloe did them. Stella McCartney. Chloe.
But like it kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, was it Destiny's Child? But like
Destiny's
the sun,
Child were huge.
they
in this
like
era.
they.
I didn't love the sunglass trend of this era. I wasn't a big fan of the big chunky. I'm a
Bug
celebrity.
eye. Yeah.
Don't look at me, but look at me. You know, like if you're walking down the street in a big pair of sunglasses, people assume you were famous. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You're trying to hide something.
15
Now
years
everything
ago.
is like eyewear trend. I'm big on sunglasses. I love sunglasses, and the trends change so fast. And now it's very much just tiny little small frames back to the 90s.
Yeah,
which I can't,
way back to the 90s
it's
now.
it's much more fashion, I think, and it's more cool. Think about the way that social media and a younger generation has brought back Y2K culture. It's come back massively on like TikTok, hasn't it? You know, like people are reviving those trends. I think that there's this idea that trends go in like 20-year cycles. So
Yes.
like it's kind of true, isn't it?
A fashion historian that I watched on YouTube said, fashion from 10 years ago is ugly. Fashion from 20 years ago, hideous. Fashion 30 years ago, on trend.
Right.
Yeah. Like, it's just so good.
You were like, you would want to, if we could go back, you'd want to live in the 80s. I'd want to live in.
Not as a gay man.
No, not as. Clearly, no, that's
No.
not good for you.
No, that wouldn't go well.
So, but in theory,
Yeah.
you would live in the 80s. I would live in the late 90s, early 2000s. I'd be like alive at the very end of the 90s and 2000s. For me, that was the golden era of fashion. It was the golden era of celebrity. But I don't think now, I just don't get the joy and that feeling from anything anymore. I don't watch runway shows and be like, oh my God, this is going to be incredible. I don't even think we've got any inspiring celebrities, honestly. Who inspires you now? Who's a celebrity? Because I'm
not really inspired by celebrities, to be honest.
But I think I was back then. Is the difference. Is that, and maybe because I was younger, but I just don't think we have celebrity culture anymore in the same way. But yet social media now is so much more prevalent. So in theory, is it because we don't have celebrities? Because here's the thing with Y2K, magazines were huge.
Magazines aren't really a thing anymore.
They're
Not print
anymore.
magazines, at least.
Print was massive.
Yeah.
The Sun newspaper in the UK, if you made their like, what was it used to be called? The celebrity page, where it was like paparazzi photos of people drunk, fucked up in like London nightclubs. If you made those pages, you were set. You know, that was the whole thing. I just think that we're certainly not in that era anymore, but print made that possible. Social media has brought in a new era of anyone can kind of be sort of famous. You know what I mean? Like you could.
I mean, Nole said it when he did the America's Next Top
Yeah.
Model podcast with us, and he spoke about it in the documentary that he was in, and he said that, you know, models back then, if you were a model on America's Next Top Model, you were an influencer.
Yeah.
Now everyone's an influencer because everyone's famous.
Yeah.
Everyone has a huge social media following. It's not novel anymore.
It's strange that oftentimes influencers have more followers than celebrities now. You know what I mean? You'll go onto a celebrity account, someone who's in a big TV show, and you see that they have like, I don't know, 70,000 followers. And you're
This,
like,
I feel like,
"What?"
should be a discussion for another podcast because I have
Yeah.
so many thoughts of this,
It's
and I don't
so
want to derail
interesting,
the
but
other thing.
if we were in Y2K time, which is what we're talking
Yes.
about now, that it would not have happened. You had to be a celebrity. You had to be that famous.
Yeah.
we're not in that era anymore, and that's the thing that defines that era so specifically and maybe it's why those people who were famous then are not that famous now. They were not able to translate the audience to the new social media era. That's the thing about that era and where we're at now is like very different times, and if I could go back, I probably would go back. And I would buy up all the Fendi baguettes for like shit. And then I'd come back now and I'd sell them all for $6,000. All right, so let's just finish. Let's wrap up. Of all the trends that were massive, iconic, which ones should we keep and which ones should we bin forever?
I mean, I love what we were talking about before, which again I feel like was sort of big in 2023, 2024. The scarf tops. Love those. Handkerchief tops.
Tick yes.
Tick yes for that. I really like that.
Parachute pants, never getting rid of
You
mine.
love your parachute pants.
Love them.
I love a clacky mule.
I love a clacky mule. This is
I
my jam.
love a clacky mule.
I'm down.
And I think that, yeah, it's flattering. And I think, you know, I'm down for, I love the whole baggy jeans movement that, you know, we're seeing
and
right now.
And I think I'm still into a trucker cap, you know. I've been wearing my Von Dutch this week. And I'm loving it. I just feel it puts me in a mood. It puts me back in that era of just, I'm kind of fucking cool and I'm fucking sexy.
Yeah.
Whether that's what it looks like, I don't care. It's how it makes you feel. So I'm down with the trucker hat because Ed Hardy, True Religion, Von Dutch, all coming back. You're going to see them on the high street. You're going to be able to buy those products again. They're huge.
Discovered.
I think Y2K also, even if it was really glam, was also about comfort. It was comfort fashion.
It was comfort.
For the most part, not the low-waisted jeans.
It was lazy fashion. No, it was comfort. It was comfort. But it was hip again. Very hip hop.
I think I'd still keep the rhinestones on stuff. Remember when people used to put them on their faces and in their hair, like little rhinestones in their hair? I think that I'm down for a bit of rhinestone.
Yeah,
I think that's very.
I also love the frosted colors in makeup. I really am loving that.
I think it has come back over the years.
It has.
Frosting.
Frosting.
I definitely remember the frosted lip gloss, and I could definitely go for a frosted lip gloss. Baby tees. I'm keeping baby tees.
Baby tees, yep.
Just because everyone looks like a small child, but a sexy small child, which is actually really not correct.
Inappropriate.
Said it, heard it, vetoed. And the last thing I think I want to bring back is flip phones. I want to do the clack.
I mean, they've already got one. They've got the Samsung Galaxy Flip.
No, babe, I want one. We can just do that again. We can have a conversation. We're walking down the street. For me.
No Capri Pants.
Oh, babe.
Unless they're with the clacky mules.
Okay, so.
But no, what I'm saying is no Capri Pants with sneakers. No.
That or flip flops or ballet flats.
Or flip flops or ballet flats.
Okay, veto. Capri pants, I predict are going to be pretty huge this summer, so you might be disappointed on that one. I will say that this is probably one of my favorite eras for fashion, whether or not I feel like it was translatable or wearable. I think it was freaking unforgettable and iconic, and for that reason, I think it's one of my favorite ever eras. So I think that was a good discussion on. We'll do more of these.
Thank you for having me on board on this disgustingly hot day in New York.
Oh my God, it's disgusting.
38 degrees outside.
I'm
100 Fahrenheit.
Dying. We're not from here, so we don't appreciate this shit. You enjoyed our rundown of the 20 top trends from Y2K era, the era of maximalism and excess. Bring it back. We'll see you again for another episode of The Icons Edit. Thanks, guys.